Again, like high school.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start here? Do you want to start back in the okay. So where do you want to go? Okay.
Everybody got a book?
I'll share one. Well, mine's on my iPad.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is one of the key things that
Here, we can share. You want to sit here and share with me?
Yeah, okay.
Share that one. We can share that and share it. Go ahead. All right.
pre-listing and listing agreement, which is consultation. And that's one of the things that I need much work at, so I think that's why Missy here gave it to me.
Not at all. I think that you know what to do, and maybe this one.
But instead of it being a listing presentation, it should be a listing consultation. So just to let everybody know. We're going to be going over some things. We're going to be getting our mojo back together to start listing. Even though we're going in a little bit into the summer, it's time. Everybody's had their vacation. It's time to go. All righty. Everyone would like to turn to 14.3. Everybody good? Everybody stand up. And we're going to do our affirmation, and it's my business is growing abundantly. 3 times.
My business is growing abundantly.
3 times.
My business is growing abundantly. My business is growing abundantly.
All right. That's awesome. All right, and turn over to page 14.4. And this is, everybody knows who Chris Heller is. He's phenomenal. I wish I could get into his head for a day and get all his information. But he talks about the pre-listing packet and listing consultation. So if someone would like to read what Chris Heller says right there in the box. Okay, thanks.
Chris Heller, Mega Agent, President of KW Worldwide, San Diego, California, recalls his first year when he sold 27 homes and was Rookie of the Year. A top real estate coach and his broker advised him on 2 things. The first one told him, you've got to list the last in this business. And the other one told him, you must present yourself and present the price very well. Chris learned early in his career to qualify sellers at the pre-listing stage, not to take a listing if the seller is not motivated and won't price their house as advised. He says having listings is great, but a sold sign in the yard with your name on it is the best advertising you can get.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
All right, right now we've been working on our leads. Now we've worked on getting appointments. So now where we're going to start doing our pre-listing and our listing consultation. So this is like when we get the listing and get excited about making some money. Today's plan of action is talking about the pre-listing packet, its contents and delivery, and how to follow up on it. That's the key word. Follow up. Because we're all not that. Practice scripts, learn the listing consultation steps, and learn how to communicate. So here we're going to have some items. We're going to have an e-edge pre-listing packet. Has anybody done the pre-listing packet? Are you satisfied with it? You want to? You're still tweaking it? Okay. We're also going to do a listing consultation materials. We're going to have a value proposition and seller scripts. All right. Also, we're not going to be going over our CMA right now. That's tomorrow. And who's going to be teaching that?
Alan's doing the CMA.
Okay, awesome.
And then Wednesday is marketing your listing, and that's Jesse. And then Thursday is Al Wagner's coming back for Thursday, which is contract to close and post-close systems, and then I'll be doing accountability on Friday.
Okay, awesome.
So that's my favorite every day.
Yeah, so we got a great week coming up. Get us motivated for the end of the year, last 6 months.
That's right.
Jeez, at least time flies. All right, we got another affirmation, so everybody stand up. And that's on page 425. I got it?
Yep.
I know All right, 1, 2, 3.
I know what people want, and I give them that plus more. I know what people want, and I give them that plus more. I know what people want, and I give them that plus more.
Awesome. I'm motivated on Monday. Where did that go? All right. Make it happen. It's time for your hard work and lead generation to pay off. Time to win the listing agreement. An information pre-listing packet and high-impact listing presentation will achieve the following. It will pre-qualify the sellers, because it's nothing worse than to go on a listing appointment and they're testing the market. And it happens. Position you as an expert real estate professional and win the listing. Tip, until you have their signatures on a listing agreement, you should always be thinking, are these serious sellers? Can we work together? Do I really want their business? Pre-qualifying the sellers. When you set an appointment to meet with them about taking their listing, you want to confirm important details in their call, including their motivation to sell. It's critical to pre-qualify them before the appointment. And we got so busy, I didn't get to this. Sorry. Oh. I don't want to lose it. I'm going to get back. And we're going to go. It really won't. All right. It's funny how you don't like your partner with someone else's computer. It doesn't work. All right. Here we go. We're going to do pre-qualified section powers. 14. This is a quick little video.
Pre-qualify, fulfilling required conditions in advance. Time is money, so guard your time. Call your seller before the appointment and ask pre-qualifying questions.
Will all decision makers be present? Where are you moving to? When do you need to move? Do you intend to be closed and moved in 30 days or just under contract in 30 days? Do you have a price in mind? At our appointment, are you planning to list your home with me?
It's important to send your pre-listing package ahead of time, and it's equally important to set the tone and learn about their motivation with your pre-qualifying call. Exercise. Find a partner in class and role-play a pre-qualifying call using the scripts you've just learned.
All right, so there are the 5 questions right there underneath pre-qualify on page 14.6. So get together with someone, and we're going to do this for just a few minutes and see how easy it is to memorize these. You get with Dan?
I don't know how to go. There's something going on with the printer. So
Come on.
Yeah, there sure was.
here, but he's here to fix it now. We have to just get it off. Okay. Here, you can.
You can use my book. How about that? I love it. Coach book.
Yeah, but
Here, Tina, you want to come on the header? I can, because I'm going to have I can just watch you back. Or.
All right, y'all got 3 minutes. So get them down.
Okay, back to survive question.
pre-qualifying state, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so, yes. All right.
Well, Lauren, do you have 5 minutes so I can answer some very important questions before I come out to meet you?
Sure.
Yes, I do.
How did you hear about it?
Hear about my market.
Oh, I just saw that too. What?
Thank you.
Or they assess my assets.
Okay, well, what, tell me a little bit about your time frame.
Okay, I guess you
Oh,
got number
yeah, I
2.
got a number 2. I did. Once you meet with me, they're my great marketing plan. Do you plan to listen to me at that time? It's not necessarily a preferred time frame.
Why are you there? I'm looking to relocate.
I understand. Yeah, that's kind of long. Kind of let me go, which will meet with.
If you sell your house in the next 30 days, would that be a problem?
Plan to list in, or what is your time?
So you could go on to
I guess I'm saying, I'm whether this year is
Yeah.
about listing right now, or you can sit here and talk to me.
Well, I just wanna know what you want to happen with those.
Well, how did you hear that?
Okay, they're a friend of a friend. Okay. Now, can I be, how much?
Where are you
do
moving
want
to?
list your house for?
I wanna move out of, the north part of the county, I wanna move to the south.
So that's why you're moving there, great.
Okay. I can help you with that. I'll give you some information about the local market. You can-
How soon do you have to be there?
I don't know how many days there are certain prices that you can
I go back to
That's good. So if you say you're home the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? About that, you just skip that one. That's right.
I understand, absolutely.
You just answer.
Okay, so how much?
What would happen if you did not say?
I would stay where I
When I meet with you, how much will you want to list your home?
Yeah, can you quickly
Well, I
describe
think
your
it's worth X amount.
So tell me, that's the price you would not rent located?
Well, that's what I think it's
How much do you owe?
I know X amount.
So how much rate is
I understand X amount very well.
Of course, everybody rates it. And why, what makes it?
Will you quickly describe your home for me?
3 bedroom, 2 bath, double car garage, vinyl sided. We did all this work to the backyard, so I know that's gonna make it a lot more money.
This sounds beautiful, I can't see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna be sending you half the information before I come out. Will you take
Oh,
a few
we
minutes
just
to
mowed
read
the yard and they bring a lot more money.
That's
If
right.
you have any questions, feel free to call me.
How would you rate your home on a scale from one
Also,
to
I just
10?
want to make sure all the decision makers be there.
Okay. Well, what would make it a 10 then? What did you? what did you
Sound
think
good.
would be from that
So
first?
our meeting will probably take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes for that.
Oh,
Yes, that'd be okay.
I don't
So
know.
I look forward to
House
seeing you
is
that
never
Friday.
taken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys,
That's true.
awesome.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good whole statement.
How did it feel?
So when you ask how long do you see
No, but I think there's
So if you don't read
the good questions. Well, and like, you know, when somebody says, okay, how do you rate your house? Well, everybody always says, like you said, my house is a 10. And what makes it a 10, you know?
First was a 9 because she mowed her yard.
Mine's a 10. I'm talking about mine.
That's
Because
great.
it's so beautifully decorated.
Oh, okay.
I said mine was never, the house is never a 10. There's always something wrong with it.
There, now, on page 14.7, there's a long list that you can download and talk with yourself about. You can keep your name.
Oh.
I got this. I was gonna let you.
Yeah, that's the one, that's kind of scripted.
Yeah, so, why don't we just take a turn and each one read a question?
Where are we?
We're on page 14.7, the law.
Oh, the script.
So Heather, you want to start with question number 1?
Okay, sure. Do you have about 5 minutes so I can ask you some very important questions before I come out the meeting?
Number 2?
Once you meet with me and hear my great marketing plan, do you plan to list with me at that time? If not, please tell me the time frame for you.
So what do y'all think of that? I mean,
I don't like that question. I understand it.
Yeah, shortened it up a little bit.
so what they're saying is, let's say,
Trying to find out how serious.
Yeah.
how serious you are, you know, you got other agents that you're interviewing, are they just seeing what you think, and they've already got someone in mind, you know? There's lots of
Right. And this would tell you right here with this question.
Yeah.
correct.
Well, especially with the time frame thing, they say, oh, well, we don't really, we just want to see what,
Test
you
the
know, that
market.
versus like saying, well, we want to move and be in Atlanta by December.
Right,
Like, you know, their time frame and that they're serious.
exactly. All right, can you read number 3 for them?
How did you hear about me?
Do y'all ask that question?
Sometimes when it's somebody I absolutely don't know.
Or, you know, did you get me online? You know, that's one of the things that we're supposed to be tracking. Dan, can you read number 4?
Yes, Ken. Where are you moving?
Heather?
Why are you moving there?
How soon do you have to be there?
If we sell your home in the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? If yes, what would the problem be?
What would happen if you did not sell your home?
When I meet with you, how much will you want to list your home for?
Tell me, what's the price you will not go below?
How much do you owe on the property?
Will you quickly describe your home for me?
How would you rate your home on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest?
What would make it a 10?
Well,
Oh, I'll be sending you a packet of information. Will you take a few minutes to review it before we meet?
Do you have any questions before we meet?
Will all the decision makers be there when we meet?
Just so you know, our meeting will take between 2 and 3 minutes, okay? Get the job done.
Yeah, here, sign right here. Just sign right here.
Oh,
Give me the
wait,
paper.
I can see that. It's a dream your own here. Between 60 and 90 minutes.
I look forward to meeting with you on July 31st at 3 o'clock.
okay,
I want to go to that 2 or 3 days.
I know.
Listen, presentation, and that is fast.
That's a good minute, about 60.
do y'all feel when you're talking with somebody or trying to get an appointment, do you feel like this is too many questions to ask? Or do you think it's very relevant to ask? And are we asking?
Very relevant.
They're very relevant. The problem is we forget to ask. You're right. And it's a whole 1 through 19. It's a lot of questions that I guess if you ask them ahead of time, maybe they'll roll off better.
Well, and like, if you can kind of combine those 3, like 4, 5, and 6, like where are you moving, why are you moving, when you have to be there, like you can
Right.
kind of combine that all into one, and they can pretty much answer those 3 questions in 1 sentence.
Well, and 2, it's conversational. So, your questions might lead you to a different part rather than, like, the way they answer a question may lead you over another question. Like, if you know that they're, where are you moving, where are you moving to? If they're just moving somewhere else within town, there may not be as much discussion around that. And it may not be, they may just, we're upsizing. We just want to buy a bigger house. We're not sure where we're going to go yet. Then you don't really necessarily need to ask all the other, it doesn't
Well,
necessarily
it also
matter.
goes back to like what we were talking about, building a relationship and a rapport with that client so that they know that you care about.
If you've already asked those questions before you go, then a lot of times you've done more than any other person that they talk to. If they're interviewing other, people who are possibly going to list their house, if they're talking to you and another agent, the fact that you're asking those questions on the front end because you want to know, I think is a really good indication that you're thorough, and I think it gives a really good message.
Number 10, I have a question. Tell me what the price you will not go below. Some of them don't have an idea what their houses are marketed for, so how would that work?
So,
Well, if it doesn't apply, if they can't answer it,
Right.
Well, it might be like, I asked it recently, but it kind of goes back to how much do you owe on the property. So if the client says, I owe nothing on the property, or I owe X amount, and plus I want to get a little bit, to take to my next purchase.
Right, that's how you can get that answer, okay?
yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I know that I'm so excited that I get to ask these pertinent questions. And, how long, really, are you excited about moving? Do you need to move quickly? And sometimes we just get out there and then we realize, oh crap, I don't have to be here for a year.
Then they're not as motivated. I mean, it gives you some perspective on how motivated they are too. My husband's relocating to Chicago, and we have to be there in 60 days.
Right.
That they're motivated to get this done and to get this.
And then sometimes, okay, we're going to go over the pre-listing packet. Does everybody know how to get to it on the e-edge? Do you know how to?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. go to pre-listing. We're just gonna look at it. And here, here's a pre-listing letter. Anybody ever read that? Whatever. Don't tell me you can't do this.
Right, just like preview.
Yeah, just click.
Try to click print preview, that's the only way it'll come up.
It's so hard. Everybody go in here and look at this and work on it.
I have one, but I need to update it.
Well, I had one on the other computer, and
Yeah.
I didn't save it in Edge.
So what is the lesson here, Sondra?
Get a hard drive.
Well, you can also save it in Google Drive.
Well, yeah, if you put it in
Well,
Google
my
Drive.
old computer was really old, and this is before we had all this lovely Google Drive, lovely stuff. But and then it was just way too much. Please be patient.
Yeah.
All right, we're on page 14A. All right, one thing that it says save time and have a professional-looking pre-listing packet by downloading and customizing the one in eEdge. And there's instructions. You can see eEdge 101 training guide. But anyway, it says position yourself to the pre-listing packet. Your pre-listing packet prepares the seller for your listing appointment, helps you evaluate their motivation to work successfully with you, and results in a signed listing agreement. An effective pre-listing packet positions you as their real estate expert of choice. The best person to get their home sold for the right prices in the least amount of time and with the least hassle. The pre-listing packet plays two critical roles. All right, Heather, you want to read number one?
The pre-listing materials are specifically designed to build sellers' confidence in you and to answer their questions and objections in advance of your presentation.
So what do you think? Like get some excited about seeing you, learn about you. All right, number two, can you read that, Tina? We're on page 14A.
14A.
Saving time. A strong pre-listing packet will make the consultation experience smoother and probably shorter than it otherwise would have been.
So basically it's saying to get the seller excited about having you come by and list their home. All right. And now we're going to go into the content of the pre-listing packet. It's as slow as my computer. There you go. So everybody's seen this, right? Worked on it. All right, and it's all unique. It's all customizable. You put your client's name. I really need to put 0.6 there, but so that's really good. And this is a little bit of guide. This is a guide for them to read and if they would sit down and do the information. So it features your contact information, and then it's all about you. Points out what they are the focus of. Points out that they are the focus of your work. Their needs, dreams, concerns, questions, finances, and more. So this is where they want to talk about what their needs are, what their dreams are, their concerns. What do you think some of these questions would reveal? How quickly?
About their motivation.
Yeah.
What's got them motivated to sell?
So just, I mean, it wouldn't take too long to fill this out until it won't. And then, all right, this is what I deliver. I'm not very good at this. What I deliver. Anybody want to read about communication? This is a really bad one for, I think this needs to be like a mantra for us. Well, they want to read communication?
Sure. Your needs always come first and provide the service we agree to in the ways that work for you, whether once a week, once a day, by phone, email, or text message. That's how we'll do it.
You'll always be kept in the loop from listing to closing. You'll know the status of our marketing efforts, the offers on the table, and the steps leading to a successful closing once an offer is accepted. We'll agree on the communication method that works best for you.
And I think that's one of the things that, I need to work on, being systematic, time blocking, putting those times where you need to communicate with them. Whether it be Tuesday from 3 to 5 or Thursday from 3 to 5. They might have a certain day that they're working on talking to their listing.
I think if you make it regular and you set their expectations, I think that's really important, because I think that a lot of people, a big mistake that people make is saying, you just call me anytime.
Right.
And you're not available, or if you have 2 different clients and you're with one client and this other client, you told this other client to call you anytime, you don't want to take away from this other client to answer the phone, then this client's upset. Well, you said to call you anytime.
Right.
So I think it's just the biggest thing is setting expectations. I think if you do that, then people will learn to respect it.
So when do you think would be a great time to call your sellers? What day of the week?
Like, I'm right now, thinking about Mondays, because if you've had showings over the weekend, like this weekend I had the showing for one of my listings. So the first thing I did this morning before, I came in here was I sent them an email and said, look, here's the feedback. This is what they said. This is what we'll do. And then if there's anything else I'm doing, like whether it's a broker's open coming up or whatever, I just fill in and say, okay, this is what I'm working on this week. If we get any more showings, then I'll be back in touch. So,
And I'm at fault for that also, because that really isn't how we're supposed to do it. Yeah, we're so excited. We got a show on. We're enthusiastic, but as every top agent that I've ever listened to was 9 to 11, 9 to 12. They generate. And so, what's after that?
then follow up.
And so, I thought for that too, and I think that's where the communication, saying, hey, if we do have a showing, I'll get, as soon as I get it, I'll get to you in the afternoon, and sometimes agents don't give you feedback for 2 or 3 days, and it's frustrating, because you want to go over there and say, hey, just give me some feedback from my seller. Has that happened to you, Roland?
I just call them.
Yeah, you just come.
I mean, I do. I'll call the agent that showed it and said, hey there, thank you so much for showing XYZ at such and such what place. I just really would love to know the feedback my seller's really wanting to know so we can get this home sold.
Right.
And,
that's great.
And
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I love Royland's Dee. She's so awesome.
Roland's what?
Dee.
I really want to say it seriously. No feedback. I really want to say.
Yeah, that's good.
But I also, on my CSS stuff, I just automatically put, the seller's email in there. And I do not put where it's got to come to me so I can tweak it before it goes to the seller. Absolutely not. However they want to write it, it's going straight to the seller. They need to know the truth. It might be good, bad, or ugly, but they gotta know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell my sellers that up front. I say,
That probably helps you when that's not coming from me. When they see something from somebody else, especially if it's something you've already told them, you've already recommended to them, it's kind of, it does. It kind of confirms what you said to them. So I think that's really good.
And I think that's one of the great things. I mean, it's really not in the pre-listing or the listing consultation, but telling them that you are correct, that you are truthful. Well, it is truthful in here, but just going forward.
I do it in a nice way. I don't say it wrong.
Come on. No.
I really do.
But anyway, going back, your experience and expertise. If you're new, or maybe you've been in the business for a while and you don't feel like you're an expert, you have tons of knowledge here in the Market Center. I mean, if we added up all the years, we have a whole lot. That would be interesting to see exactly how many years we have in this office, total. Because I know Dee Dee's been in the business. 30 years.
30.
How long have you been in business?
20. in 79.
Okay.
Easy.
So, that's 35.
I've been out of it and then I got back in.
Right, okay,
I've
well,
been steady doing it.
but I mean, right there is 70 years, 65 years worth of experience, give or take. And you've probably been through a lot more than I have, different things.
3 sheets.
Do I? That was 3 sheets.
Oh,
Don't we wish it was back then?
yeah.
Also, so we go in marketing, what we're gonna do. And I think that's one of the things that, how do we market? Do we just put it in the MLS? Are we going the extra mile? What is it that we need to do? I think Diana is one of those that says under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
I knew I was going to get that back.
Yeah. Not the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. Under promise and over deliver. And I know I've got a listing coming up. And I'm like going, yeah, I got to go walk that neighborhood. Really need to do it. It's hot and it's gross right now. But really, how many people can you meet? How do you never know, you may meet your best friend in life that you never met before. So it's one of those things that we just need to do, put the hair up, go for it, start walking the horse, roil it, get the horse out, walk the neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
What was it, Diana used to take her kids,
The red wagon.
little red wagon?
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I can't use that.
Put your fur babies in there.
You could borrow it. You could borrow Jennifer's.
I want to take another.
If I want my neighborhood with my dogs, people would slam the door in my face. I'd be terrified.
I'm dogless this week, so I'm excited. Pricing. You're going to be priced right, just as is needed. I'll tell you right now, the listing that I'm taking, I told her one price, and she's gone back. She said, I really need to get a little bit more. I said, well, I tell you what, we'll start it at that, but in 2 weeks we're going to my price if we don't get any showings. And she said, it was like a long pause. And I'm like going, And she finally said, okay. But, sometimes the sellers think that they know more, but as we know, those first 21 days of the home being on the market is the best time.
So you just make that a verbal agreement, or do you put that in writing?
It was in a text. So, which now text are considered binding. Thank goodness. How are we doing on staging? Does everybody feel comfortable staging?
So I have a question. Like, I have a listing that I'm getting ready to put on the market, and it's an expired. So it's been on the market for like 7 months. It was listed by themselves and an agent. And when I talked to her, she was like, the agent has not given me any feedback. I don't, but her whole house is completely like empty, minus like things just sitting around random stuff. So what I'm trying to figure out is that maybe why part of the reason why it hasn't sold, because it kind of looks, do you bring some furniture in, or that's kind of where I'm at.
Saying.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that house that the brokers that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
Cute home.
Mm-hmm.
But it just had no wow factor. It was like, it could be really cute, and I don't know if we can maybe do some virtual staging, and maybe we need Susan because she can do that.
Right. So Karen, what?
Really, you couldn't virtual stage?
No.
Not virtually. I'm going there and tell you where it probably needs to go and get rid of half the crap that's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But in my situation, like, if there's nothing, what do you do? Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like if you were to just, maybe even just 1 or 2 rooms,
Yeah.
like add some, so that's like, so,
Is she living there?
no. And see, she's gone, so it's like,
is it clean?
It is.
Does it smell good?
There's 2 rooms that don't smell.
There's a problem.
And that's, and I was,
Plug-ins are wonderful.
Is it?
Plugins are wonderful.
I think it was probably. Do you know what I mean? And there's a carpet in there, and I think if I just take the carpet up, then I'm wondering, not the carpet, a rug, that's what I mean, a rug. So it's such a beautiful house, that's why I'm like, and I know that the furniture was in there when she lived there, I'm sure.
How were the pictures done?
Prior to the list, you know, when she had furniture in there, probably.
But I mean, who did them and how were they done? Were they done away where, because I mean, a house doesn't have to necessarily have furniture.
Right.
I mean, you can put in plants, you can put in, you know, little things all around, like in the kitchen or whatever. It doesn't have to have furniture necessarily.
Right.
But just give it a feeling.
Well, and I think that's where I'm at. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to redo the pictures, but that's before I do that, I want to figure out, you know,
What it needs.
what it needs.
And it's got, and to me, it's got to smell good. Not overkill.
No.
You don't walk in and be like, smash your face.
So here's a question based like about the whole smell thing. Like, how do you deliver that to somebody that's living in a house? Like, what do you say? Do you just say, you know, there's a smell in this house, and then how do you say it without?
I think that you just say, you know, in going through a couple of the rooms, I noticed, and there's and I think maybe it's coming out because the house has been closed up for a really
Right.
long time. You can kind of, there are ways around it so that you don't say house is like dogs.
Well, until I think if you live, like another listing I have, like if you live there, you don't smell it. Do you know what I mean? You become immune to it almost. But then as soon as you walk in, you're like, you smell it right off the bat, you know?
Yeah, I had a list, and I got a list I'm getting today. I looked at it Friday, and when I walk in, I smell what it had been closed up for a while. And I told the owner, I said, "You have a smell in here?" He said, "Yeah, because it was closed up." I said, "You need to do something with this."
So what do you suggest, this is one of the things that I think that we all need to know. So how do you remedy that situation? What is it that you suggest then? What do you, I mean,
So like plug-ins?
I know,
His wife, that's what she said.
What
like
scent plug-ins do you
Like
think?
a clean smell.
Like clean, not so overwhelming and flowery or anything.
Yeah, like a
And
just
they
a
just
clean.
clean open it up a little bit too.
Oh, I got a good experience. Hold on, it just came to me. I had, my neighbor across the street, when I sold his house, he had renters in there. And you guys, let me tell you something. I have 2 dogs. But they had dogs in there that lived in the poop in the house. I mean, I had to deal with some major crap. The dog came in and had to literally take out all the carpet, had to kills paint,
Oh,
kills
wow.
the
Yeah.
cement underneath the carpet is on a raised slab, kills that,
Because the
Had-
scent was so thick.
had to kills the walls, and then had to repaint the whole place. There was still a dog smell. So this was in the spring, summer, early summer. So what I had to do, since I lived across the street, it was easy for me, it was vacant. I just went over there and I would leave the windows open. And I'm telling you, talk about plug-ins, talk about Febreze, talk about, I mean, I invested in those Dollar General things where you stick them in and they absorb the odors. I went and got those, I put them everywhere. I mean, the house sold, you know, but it took a little while. And I mean, it took a long time to get that dog smell. But they let the dogs just poop on walls. I mean, it was just awful. So,
I know vinegar and water
mhm.
is
That helps.
one that you can sit in a house and it absorbs.
Does a baking soda do the same thing? If you put it, maybe if you spread it out in a pan, never tried that.
I mean, you put it in your refrigerator to absorb better. So I don't know if
Maybe
maybe
try all these things.
we can certainly go on this.
Yeah, but I think that's, you know, your house smells like a cat food. But,
Oh, yeah, but that's what I do.
Actually, I mean, you just have to be.
Well, and people appreciate the
Yes, they
honesty.
do. I mean, especially if you don't go in there and say it stinks in here. I mean, that's not, there's a right and wrong way to say it, but saying it is necessary.
And you might want to also estate, kind of like, you know, when you go into some, say, when you ever go visit somebody, if you ever notice that their house might smell a little different than yours, and not everybody likes that smell, so we try to make it neutral, so everybody likes it.
Oh, it's nice. See, that's a great way to put it.
I do. It's got it on. I know one thing, the satisfaction part of this pre-listing. How do you go about that when you talk about listing their house? Do you give them some sort of guarantee?
You can't guarantee.
I mean, I think maybe your cancellation, if you decide within 3 or 4 months that we're not working well together, do you tell them that that they're more than welcome to hire you, or vice versa, exactly. And act on it. I know I wish I'd done that with a couple of my listings, that didn't want to, because it takes money. I mean, it really, truly, it takes money, and these sellers really don't realize. They just think that we're not doing anything. And if we have a listing that's on the market for 9 months and it doesn't sell, how much does it cost you?
A lot.
A lot.
But I think that this is good because it says our relationship is dependent on meeting and exceeding your needs. We identify those needs together.
Right.
And so I think that's the key, is actually identifying their needs and helping them shape those a little bit, because sometimes they're going to say, I want this house sold in 30 days. I'm more than happy to help you do that. However, you're going to have to really listen to me. We're going to have to price this right. We're going to have to, and just making sure that they know that, don't just say, you can't just be a yes man when it comes to stuff like that. You can't just say yes to everything that they ask you, because if you do, then you're not necessarily giving them the best service either.
Right. And sometimes that's where I tend to be, yes, ma'am. I need to work on that. I need to get some D. So anyway, this is all customizable. We can, this talks about the home selling process, preparing your home, communication. You notice communication is always on. This talks about getting ready. Can't change the location, change the price, change the condition somewhat. Competition. I think that was where I sort of, listened that I went on last week, that I sort of was overzealous about. I told them that the last 2 homes that sold out there sold within 30 days. And then I told them the price, and since it's, I think they got in their head, since it sold in 30 days, they didn't price it right. And I think that's where you understand it. So it's like going, okay, so it sold quickly, Well, we should be able to get more since it sells quickly. So
It was priced right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but their head is a great area to be in. The other homes sold in less than 30 days. There's no homes in the market out there, so
I think this helps. It's really important because people are emotionally attached to their house. When they're selling a house, chances are they've lived there. Sometimes they're like so ready to. There's still emotional attachments to a house. I know when we go to sell ours.
oh yeah.
I brought my baby home from the hospital in that house. Like it has intrinsic value that people don't, that other people don't realize yet because they don't live there. And so I think having these things and actually being able to make them understand it that's a big challenge.
I know. I did talk. I can't remember where I was, but I remember hearing that they had their sellers write a story about their house. And what it meant to them, because more than likely, a person very similar to them is going to buy their house. And so writing a story about their house,
Was that when I first came, we were watching some videos one day, and I think it was one of J. Michael Manley's that he does, of his listings, where he actually interviews the sellers, and they talk about, do y'all remember that? Where they talk about what the house means to them, and they're like, they talk about, like, this particular one was like, we love this neighborhood, we have 2 kids, and there's tons of kids, like, it almost brings like that emotional
story to it.
So, which I think is a really cool thing.
And so, you can have them write an interview on, videotape it, however you want to, but yeah, it's just a good idea. Then you talk about the competition. All right. This is how you need to tell your sellers that buyers find their home. It's amazing, the internet, then the agent, the New York Sun, the open house newspaper, magazines, etc. We can tell where we really need to put our presence and as an agent, how to be proactive. Not just let the internet do it, which I'm at fault for. I'm not proactive, but that's. Here's something, the 14-step marketing plan. Has anybody really read over these?
I have, and I've adjusted mine a lot.
So, yeah, so how many do you have?
I have like 10, and I saw one time when I was at some class somewhere, where he just had price all the way down the list until the bottom.
Oh.
He did. He said, here's my 14 step, price, and then a couple things at the bottom, that was it. Basically telling the seller, if you don't price it right, it doesn't matter what I do.
Right.
Because that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we could do all the open houses and all the breakers open and all the internet, even and sending out postcards to the neighborhood, whatever it is, but if it's not priced right to begin with, it's not going to sell.
I like that. Thanks.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Now, I haven't done mine that way, but I saw that one time. I thought that was hilarious.
I know, like, stage your home, place for sale signage.
See, you have to read through that one. They use the interactive voice response. I don't use that.
What is that?
You got to pay like how much is a month and have it.
Right. And IVRs are not as common as they used to be. I don't think. Now, there's other things.
Like, say for like the just listed notices to neighbors, would that be where you do your door knocking?
Right. And handing them little flyers about the house, or we do this one, a 360-degree tour. You do that one. Does anybody create a home book?
I'd like to do.
I do.
What does it look like?
I do sometimes.
I put in there, I call the GC or call in who's got utilities. I get a copy of that, the latest, last 12 months, last 2 years, whatever. I get, it's HOA, I go online to whoever the HOA property management company is. I print out everything that goes with that. I try to put the covenants in there if they're not a book long. What else do I do? Something
Well,
that,
you can list the goals just as a sheet.
I put the Opus sheet in there. One thing I want to start doing, but I haven't done it because I haven't figured out realist yet. We didn't have a class on realist. Is I've been seeing some agents, they'll put like printouts and stuff from realist, which like shows, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but it shows like how much money people make and the average, job they do.
In the area.
In the area. And then, all that kind of stuff. So it's got like all kinds of home, information. But you can put that around really fast.
Okay, that's a great idea. Make a note. Let's see. Target a market active real estate agent who specializes in selling homes in your neighborhood, includes your home and our company, which we do. Here's another one, advertise your home in my real estate magazine neighborhood newsletter. It's a direct mail campaign, email campaign, social media. I don't know how many people do I mean, I think you had a good lesson in that one.
I had a great lesson with that one. I advertised in the newspaper and spent a big chunk of money, and I got a big fat zero.
And then
How does
And then the listing went away.
And so maybe that would be where you ask those questions and really yeah, that's okay, I had fire less.
You had to buy a refrigerator,
Yes.
because you put in there that it was gonna
It was,
stay.
it was in the MLS that it conveyed, but I did not put it in the contract. And the contract precedes MLS.
Oh.
Yeah, last walkthrough, I went, oh my. Never figured it out.
Yeah.
I had to go back and figure it out. Negated that commission. Provide you with weekly updates detailing on marketing efforts, including comments from the prospective buyers and agents who have visited your home. About staging your home. Location cannot be changed, size cannot be changed unless you're adding. So the amenities and condition can be changed. Are we all asking for our sellers to do an inspection of the property?
I try.
With my older houses, I found that the seller will absolutely. But there might be some, but then even more, they just didn't think about it, you have around there.
Yeah.
But I have found that my sellers that are have older houses will do it right away.
Yeah.
Versus it's harder to get somebody that has never home to do it.
But, yeah, you definitely don't want it surprised, because I know one time, you know, when I first got the business, selling a house, I didn't know to ask that. And it came up that they had to have like 7 floor joists replaced. They were not happy with me, but it wasn't my house. But, you know, they came down really hard on me, because now this is going to affect the price of the house, But, you know, I said, either way, you're going to have to fix it. Whether we take this off or not, you got to fix it. Material value.
Aren't the cross faces the biggest, usually the biggest concern in Eastern North Carolina anyway, so just to
Yeah.
it's up there.
Yes, it is.
Can you go back when you said material fact?
Uh-huh.
Go back to that. Explain that again. When you said you had a home inspection, that was a material fact?
That is material fact. But, you know, even if it doesn't go through, that seller knows it now. So he needs to redo that enclosure, you know, if he's not going to fix it, or if he is, because he knows now that he's got 7 floor joists messed up. And let's just say they got a, you know, a crappy inspector that didn't see it, or didn't call underneath the house because it was pouring down rain. You know, I mean, I'm not saying they would do that, but still, we would hate for that to fall back on us. But anytime you have inspections, the contract falls through, anything that's found on that inspection is material fact.
So they need to redo the disclosure.
That's interesting.
That's good to know.
It's very good to know, because I've had agents say, well, your buyer can buy the inspection that the other buyer had. They won't tell you what's wrong. That's interesting.
It's material fact, and the seller can buy it from the other one, even, you know, because they really, I mean, think about it. If the contract didn't go through, the buyer bought.
It's technically their inspection.
Right. And so the seller does need to purchase it.
Now, my question was that, well, this was what happened to me. I had a seller, I was representing a buyer or whatever, and they wanted to make an offer on this one house. Well, another buyer had made an offer and it didn't go through. They had had an inspection done. Well, the listing agent said, well, your buyer can buy the inspection from the previous buyer. And I said, okay, well,
But they didn't disclose the
but they
fact.
wouldn't disclose what was wrong. I said, well, what's wrong with the property? I mean, can we know? I mean, if it's something major, we need to know. And she goes, you have to buy an inspection. Now that's messed up. If you're saying it's a material fact.
So what is there law around that, or is there, okay.
You either be honest or shady, basically.
Right.
Or sketchy. I might say shady. That's what you're saying.
You know, if you know that there's a hole in the roof and, you know, that only happens when the wind blows a certain way, fix it. I mean, you know, because there are shingles that come up when the wind blows a certain way, if they're not done properly, or a boot needs to be put on the.
And those are easy things.
Easy fixes, but people think that they're monumental.
They're not.
You know, fascia board needs replacing. Replace it. Everybody got a good list of vendors. I think that's one thing that we would like to do here. Spend some time, everybody, you know, like give who you use to do your repairs or who you recommend. You know, carpet cleaning, that sort of thing. I mean, I think that would be really good for us all to get together.
Well, and then we can add that to our,
I started one.
So maybe we can all get together.
Maybe we can share some of that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Like I need a plumber now. Look for my fire.
yeah.
I need that season. And I was gonna ask today.
Who do you use?
Rich. I was not, forgot his name.
I was rich.
No, he does some, he does Lisa's stuff. And he does my parents, he does my stuff.
Is there somewhere on the internet that you can save documents?
Yeah, there's, I mean, we
Like, do you
can,
know what I mean? Like, if we had, like,
we can do
a
it,
depository, do you know what I mean? Like,
or
or
we can do it as a drive document.
yeah, or I can say,
I
yeah.
can save it on
You
drive.
just
What
share
are
it.
you, what are you asking?
To
So that we can have a
put all
list.
the vendors,
Right,
like if
right.
we had, so then if we need to go and print it out, or, you know,
Well, see,
download.
what I really like to do is what they did in Rocky Mountain. That's awesome. What they
We're going
did.
to,
Well, they-
it never happened.
Is it in there? Do you see it in there?
I don't know, I remember we were talking about doing it and we never did. Of course.
Well,
Things
let's-
like that.
they have a little booklet and it's resources and
And we
it
have
has.
at least more.
Oh, Lord.
You need that at all times.
Yeah, exactly.
I have them on speed dial.
It has in there electricians, plumbers, surveyors,
Babysitters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Surveyors,
It's not in here, but-
plumbers, repair people, landscaping. And you know, and the one thing that I thought about, you know, to do this is, you know, hey, if we put your name in bold, we pay $25.
They help with the rent costs.
Help with the printing cost.
Well, let's do that.
Okay. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I'd love to have it just for me to have at my house.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also a great thing that nobody else is getting. And also, you know, it'd be great for, you know, if you want to work on for sale minors or expires, same thing, you know, here's a little something. Okay. You know. So if we want to do that, I mean, it wouldn't take long to get it together. And I've already got pricing on it.
Well, what we could do, let me ask you all this, maybe by, if we, sorry, if we send out an email like today, like if Jennifer sends one out today to everybody and says by Friday, we need, who do you use as a plumber, who do you use as a landscaper, carpenter, whatever, you know, and have a list of all the people you particularly use.
Right.
And then figure out how many we got.
Right.
And then you go out after those people and you ask them, hey, would you be willing to be in our home booklet as service providers for $25?
Yeah.
It's real simple. And then by the end of July or something, we have who's going to actually do it.
Yeah.
And they just write a check to KW
I think,
or whoever.
I think I've got it upstairs in my drawer, Jennifer. That's okay. Can you run upstairs and look in my long drawer? I think it's right there. We'll continue on, at least that way we'll have a guide. It's about that long, about that wide, and it says resources.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a time on this, or nobody's.
All right, so anyway, all this, this is the really good one here. Question to ask your agent. Yeah. Are you a full-time or part-time agent? What's your average name? Do we all know that? Will you service our list in person, or will we work with your assistants? How many sellers and buyers are you currently? These are questions that they can ask, and of course, this is all tweetable. I mean, they're not tweetable.
Not twerkable.
What is it? What's it called?
Workable.
Tweetable. Okay, it can be tweaked. Oh Lord, that was funny. These are things you can just change some of these. Don't want them to say how many number of days and all that kind of stuff. But,
Yeah, if you got listings that just are areas that just aren't selling no matter what you do, that makes you look bad.
And here's one: do you offer an easy exit list so I can end our agreement's not satisfied? That's where you can say, hey, look, if we're just not working, let's just, because it does happen. These are questions that you ask them. So this is really good. And then you have the testimonials.
In Spanish?
That's
Put them in a weird language.
It's Lauren X. Anyway, and then
Sondra, do they update this whole thing? Because mine looks totally different. And maybe mine is a pre-marketing packet.
there's different things.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
This is the pre-listing.
They must have updated it, because my pre-listing was something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Did I tell you right where it was?
You did. It was very exciting.
Yes. So anyway, and this is where you can tweak it also. All right. So that's that. What do y'all think of that? It's very similar to the listing presentation, only it's the listing a little bit more. Also, a few other things that you may want to put in there. What's the one thing they really need to have in there that they can already work on? The seller's display. So that's something that you can go ahead and put in there if you wanted to, or add to.
Do you also put in a net sheet, or do you do that for them?
That minute. Just it. So
I would think the next sheet would be really nice.
I mean, I don't know.
we're going over that in just a minute.
Okay. Sorry. I'll shut
On
up.
1411, why don't y'all just work? There's 8 questions. Why don't you just write down for about 5 minutes? Just tweak some of those questions that you have. There's 8 questions, and then that way you'll have a kickstart on your pre-listing packet. It's on page 1411.
But if we haven't done one, we can always go there and update that one as we're writing.
Hey, Sondra,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Each one. I said that each one paid $25 fee. Is that what it was? Is that what she said?
They did this. This is what I'm just saying, what we can do is like, hey, Jack made this. So,
Kind of like the phone book. That's what
I mean, I'm not that.
I'll be honest with you. I personally think we should do it very similar to this and just tell everybody how to pay $25. That way, if one's not over the other, it's just, you want to be in our book, you pay $25. That's all I mean, or see how many we can get to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, what's $25? Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what is $25? Exactly. If it looks like that, and we go around and show that this will look just like something very similar.
Right. good, all that kind of stuff.
And just say we get this out to all of our clients, business, and everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
So anyway,
But yeah,
I think that's awesome.
oh yeah,
I mean, it's like a little mini phone book, you know, but
everybody I know will want one of these.
yeah.
And that's what I would tell them. It's like this one of the article sellers and buyers, and it's gonna got people we need, we're gonna keep them in a car.
Would you not, I mean, would you not want to just have these at the market and say,
Absolutely,
and we could just, and I would just, if we put our part in there, save the total. You know, because we want it neutral for everybody.
Right, not just, yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's great, I think it's good. Here, Dan. That's my opinion.
I think, I don't know anybody else's doing that.
Well, and my whole thing about charging everybody, that way, I don't know, just to me, it would look more useful.
And then we could,
Where'd you get this?
They do those in market now.
Holy shit.
shoot, we're online.
Yeah, sorry. That's very impressive, I think.
Yes, I do have to say, I really wish that the Rocky Mountain Girls could come over here because they're very innovative and they're, I get it. I just think they're awesome over there.
Those girls are very,
Very professional, very on top of things.
yeah, I mean, very in your face type. It's real nice.
Thank you, guys.
How's it going?
Look at something. Which is the standard, right? This is about this. Sorry, really, this is what you're asking me, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have, I mean, you know, yeah, it's
It's the
bad.
same thing as
Yeah.
that. I was just curious as to
Let's see,
why,
go down.
why you would have those. Oh, that's what I left
Oh,
out.
good work on that one.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
that's fine.
it's what's on there, but, you know, just,
Because it repeats the same thing again, what I do, and then it
right,
says
it just
what
needs
we-
tweaking all the time. Tweaking,
I would thought
the
that,
tweaking, yeah.
yeah, but I would have thought having this page wouldn't be necessary to have the next page, which is sad.
Which one?
See, this covers the same thing, experience, technology, and all this kind of good
Yeah.
stuff for me. And then you go to the next, if you skip into the next page, it's listing the same thing. That's marketing.
But this talk,
Nice. But, you know, expert, experience, and
this talks
expertise.
about what you get,
Oh, okay.
marketing, pricing stage, the other one that talks
Oh,
about
yeah,
stage.
yeah.
It's somewhat, it just
Trying to figure out how
reiterates.
not to say the same thing over again.
Right, it's just
Sorry.
a few things.
Yeah, thanks for picking up the miss here. No.
All right. How's it going? All right, let's go to 1412. Tina, could you read, click seller paperwork, top agents, right there?
Right, at the bottom.
No, at the top.
Oh, top agents across Keller Williams Realty believe in the persuasive power of pre-listing packets, and they use them to detect sellers' motivations too. Your pre-listing package should always include several information sheets or disclosure forms, as required by your MLS or your broker, that the sellers are asked to complete before you arrive for the appointment. The EH package contains one information sheet, homework question for you. You can add the local disclosure forms. Seller.
We can stop right there. Okay. All right, so basically, question, the seller will include tester motivation, give them a task to do either before you arrive or while you're working their tour, such as the seller's disclosure. And also, once you get there and you tour the home, do you tend to have them tour it with you, or do you like to do it by yourself?
I think I have them towards listening, because if I have any questions, I ask them.
I was taught in Bold, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go look by yourself, but you're supposed to look it in the eyes of the buyer. Well, that is about 95% of the time I can't do that. They'd say, oh, we didn't take you. And I'm like, wow, but okay. So I tried to tell them, please let me look through the house, but.
I think it's just the area. I think every area in the United States is different.
Yeah.
I think here, being in the East, we tend to.
Southeast.
Yeah, we're more Southeast. Yeah. Nurturing.
Which actually, in a way, though, you can kind of knock out 2 birds with one stone. You do it this way. And it's against the whole Bold Diane, but, she's not always perfect. So, if you go around with your list, you can make notes of what needs to be done, like declutter, what you need to be cleaning. You make that little staging list as you go along through the house. That's what I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It could be completely wrong, but whatever.
So, either way is fine. And then it can help you later with the, when you get back to the office and work on the paperwork, get putting it in the MLS. The pre-listing packet, I think this is pretty good. Top listing agents are big believers in the power of the pre-listing packet, and they take it up a notch by using a runner or a delivery service to get pre-listing packets to the office or place of business of the prospective seller. It didn't work because he was a sell by owner, and he was going to stay for sell by owner, but I tried. But it was.
Did you sell his house?
No, it's still rent. I mean, he had enough money that he's got another house, and, so he's using it for income. But I thought I was pretty brave to do it. I actually carried it up to his office and delivered it, had it up thing. But he did call me, so I guess maybe that does show something. So if you ever want to try it, and you know where they were, it was a doctor show for now, pretty easy. But anyway, when a delivery person comes to the front desk of an office and say they have a personal delivery for your client from their Keller Williams associate, it gets attention because it's positive talk about you in their office. So I think that, I should have followed up more, I should have done more, but I think I was so scared to come back. This is when I first started. It's all like, I'm supposed to do that. But anyway, I think I'd be more. But I think it'd be pretty cool, for we all of us to do a pre-listing packet, hand deliver it, or have another agent, hey, you run by such and such, can you drop this off for me? So it would be you, all of us working together. Now we're at the listing consultation, and this is where you earn your commission with the sellers. It's the point where you deliver the things that are most interested in, the reason why they should hire you to list their home, and the list price you recommend. It's the pressure-packed moment, even for the most experienced listing agents. Why? Because as Gary Keller teaches in The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, a listing is your best business building leverage point. Listings properly priced and marketed generate income from the sale and also attract multiple buyers. One of them may buy your listing. Many of the rest become valuable leads that may also buy homes with you. A listing also puts you in prime position to either sell the listing homeowner their next home, or refer them to another out-of-town Keller Williams associate who will help them pay a referral fee. I need to get better at that. The listing consultation is your critical seller appointment, the one you committed to deliver when you set your appointment with the seller. At this point in your consultation, you will create a great impression to build the seller's confidence in you as their real estate agent of choice to get their home sold. Share your persuasive price recommendation. And that's the hardest part for me. It's like, I know that this is the price it's going to sell. They want to list it differently. And I sell it,
I like how you do it though. You say, why don't we list it at your price now? But then if we don't have any showings in 2 weeks, we need to reduce it down to where I want to price it, because that's where, not to say that's where it needs to be, but
Right.
we'll say, we'll go your way first. So then after 2 weeks, if we're not getting anything, we need to go my way.
right. It doesn't matter how much money you need.
It really
It
does.
doesn't matter, you know, I need $100,000, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get $100,000 kind of proceeds from my house. You should stop working harder. Follow the consultation template provided in the session. Later, as you become more confident, you may modify some of the steps. And, you know, I think you can go ahead and start doing that, you know, like Royla said, you know, putting something together. Initially, your listing consultation takes about an hour, no more. And we end up talking. And that's hard, you know, because we all like to talk. And instead of making a business appointment, we end up talking about the kids, the dog,
I'm guilty of it.
later it may become 30 minutes long or even less. Any questions there? Oh, also it said, be sure when you go to that listing appointment, you always have a sign and a lockbox. Basically, all the agreements just about signs, except for the price.
I have a question. Do you normally send the comparables with your pre-listing?
Well, I can give them the information.
Until you get to
To prepare? I don't know.
Well, I mean, remember the questions that they asked, that we asked them, those 19 questions?
Mm-hmm.
One of those questions was, how much you want to price your house? What's the lowest you'll go? Remember that? But I mean, yeah, that's your job. Confirming the listing appointment, you know, set the appointment, go there, send the pre-listing packet, confirm the appointment before you go. You should always test the seller's motivation with those short qualifying sessions, pre-qualifying questions that we had, that we went over. Be sure that all listing decision makers will be present. Nothing any worse than to go to a listing appointment and only one of them is there. I mean, I went to a listing appointment and I found out that she's married, but nobody knows she's married. She's been married. It's strictly business. And so, but she has power of attorney, but I'm like, I've never had this. But she has complete power of attorney over him. Did you be surprised?
Yeah, sometimes people just don't get divorced. They just,
Was he in a home or something?
Huh?
Was he in a home?
No, he lives in another city. They just can't live together.
yeah, they just move on.
They're you know,
Weird. Okay.
all right, we have a 12-step listing consultation. Now, here at the bottom of the 12 listing consultation steps below, cover everything you need to do from the moment you arrive to the time you leave with the sign, listing, and agreement.
What page are you on?
Oh, 14. So, resellers, Diana Picosa always says when you're at the door, you know, take a little bit of step back before they come. Because nothing, hey, how you doing? You know, like everybody. And, you know, introduce yourself. And anyway, say, hey, I'm here at 2 o'clock. You told me to be here at 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock right now. We're here for our listening appointment. And I had this one happen where she said, oh, I thought you said Friday. I went, no. I said, Thursday. She said, right up here. I said, me too.
Well, and I like to send a text like the day before just as a little reminder.
Yeah.
I started doing that because that happened to me one time.
And I forgot to send it. So and that's where Liz comes in and all that kind of lovely stuff. Be very brief, set the stage for the moment, and confident agents have no problem, presume the outcome. Thank you for inviting me here to list your home. Here's what will happen today. Check on the pre-listing packet. Did they fill it out? Have they looked over it? If yes, great. Thanks so much. Thank you for taking the time to review that. And if no, that's okay. We'll just cover most of it again. And also, always remember the disc profile when you're with them. Got a mirror match. That's sometimes kind of hard. The C's are the people that I have a hard time with. And they tend to be what? Who do you think C people are? Like analytical people, professors, those people that are very critical. Maybe that's how I should say, a critical person, like the lady king in the other nation. Ooh.
Very clear, she didn't like when we weren't.
Which I think is very rude.
Oh, she was nasty.
All right. If you can't say something, as old pro said, if you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. I mean, I could go, you know, we can always degrade somebody for something, but why? That does help no one at all. I don't see any purpose in it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're talking about building rapport. This is probably your first face-to-face, you know, connection with them when you get to the listing appointment. Relationships start building right there. Have you ever done a listing appointment and go, this is not at all what I think it's going to be, and you have to go through with it, and you know it's not going to work out, you know they're just using you, or you know that y'all don't connect. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it is what it is. And accept it. I mean, you know, sometimes I want to hit myself sometimes for taking a listing and go, I can take out this. I knew I would never be able to communicate with him or with her. But you always try to be hopeful. And then that's when you realize that you have wasted your time. Let's see what we got here. All right.
Rapport, a connection, especially a harmonious or sympathetic relation. Step 3 and 4 of the listing consultation is entering, touring, and beginning the conversation. Set expectations up front.
One of three things will happen today. You'll list with me, you may decide not to list with me, or I may choose not to list your home.
And lead up to the one thing you most need to know, their motivation to sell.
Do you want to sell? Why are you selling?
Touring the home is an excellent opportunity to grow your relationship. Compliment the positives you see. You have a very welcoming entryway. I love your artwork. And set yourself up as the expert. That half bath near the entryway is a feature a lot of buyers like. Did you know that? The front of your home is critical for curb appeal. Are you willing to make an investment in sprucing up your yard? You're going to be glad you did. It's the first thing buyers see, and first impressions really count. Keep in mind, some associates prefer to tour alone and have their sellers complete information sheets from the pre-listing package. How confident you are in your rapport building skills may decide which way you prefer. The choice is yours. Exercise. Find a partner and role-play rapport building techniques. What will you ask? How will you follow up on their answers?
So basically, on page 14, 16, those questions, I thought that was really cool. One of the three things you have to do: list with me, not list with me, or I may choose not to list your home for you. Do you want to sell? Why are you selling? You have a very welcoming entry. I love your artwork. that have, and that's another thing, artwork can be very, can take away from the home, from buyers looking at the home, because if they have phenomenal artwork or personal pictures. So anyway, and I think one of the things Diana Costa said is, they start, when she gets to the home, she starts at the mailbox. If the mailbox is like this, what do they think the home's going to look like?
Exactly.
And the mailbox, they probably say, oh, I didn't even notice that mailbox was like that. Some people just see something over and over and over again, they never see it. So I always start like at the mailbox, and finish painting, put a new one up, do it. Makes a big difference. Step 4 is to focus on the seller's needs. Listing, the entire session is about them and their needs, not about you. Selling is not telling. One who knows the listing and selling process is all about them. This is a really cool graph here about when you should be speaking and when you should be listing. This is on 1417. And the seller's reading, checking on pre-list stuff. Half the time. Building rapport, you need to be listening. So I thought that was pretty cool. Does everybody have a value proposition in here? It's the hardest thing to do. So that's one thing that we probably need to work on. That 30-second spiel, or 15 seconds, what is it, 10-second spiel in the elevator speech? Is it 15? It's short.
I don't remember, it's not very long.
It's real short, why you should choose that. Because I'm sweet, kind, considerate, lovable. Evaluating the home, ask their seller their evaluation of the home. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think your house is? 9, 7, 6. What do you really, this is where the storytelling, what is it that you really like about the house, the location? What are your 5 favorite features? What are your 5 favorite things about this community? Those are like a little story about the house that I was talking about. And then also when you're going through the house, you can use this home evaluation form, and that can be found in Ignite. And you can go through and talk about how many stories it is, or, goes through everything. And that's, where you get a clipboard, just go through the house, knock on it. And that's also where you can take notes that Dr. Mullen brought that you can prepare.
Isn't it also a good idea to print out the MLS stuff, information, so when you're going through the input information?
I do that. Yeah, it's very similar.
Because I'd like to know what a city well mud, what is that? Mud.
Mud.
Is that where you get your water from, the mud?
It probably stands for something. Municipal, something, utilities. It's probably something in another state. Because
I like this view, city, green belt, no view.
Well, this is just a list that's made for all United States. This and you can tweak it.
Yes, sir.
You discover and prioritize their needs. Price, deadline, same old stuff every time. It's like repetition, so we need to do it. Why are you moving? Do you need to sell within a certain time frame? You have a price in mind that you think you're making sell for. That's always a good one. In terms of your schedule, how would you like to plan for your home showing? This is where you decide you need 2-hour showing, 24-hour notice. Can they see it anytime, 15 minutes or less? What's the most important factor for you in the sale of your home? What's important to you in a real estate agent? That's always a good one. Are you staying in the area after home sales? Let me help you buy it. We went over the 10 plus, and the win-win for the client. It says you could also work on a worksheet, like a little scale of 1 to 10. 10 being desirable, about getting unsold. There's lots of little avenues that you can go on to really get down to when they want it, why they're doing it. And I wonder how many other agents are really asking those questions. I don't know. I'd love to have like a little fly along to see. Wouldn't that be cool to go on somebody else's listing appointment? Yeah.
Need, a requirement. Clients must have price, terms, and your service. Step 6 of the listing consultation is uncovering and prioritizing needs. To do this, sit at the dining or kitchen table. Use this worksheet found in your materials to help you with this process. Your goal is to find their top need. Is it price? Time frame to sell? How showings happen? Drill down. Ask why more than once to be sure you understand the need, the motivation driving it, and then prioritize their needs.
What's most important to you about the sale of your home? What will make it a 10+ experience? What do you need to have happen in this sale? What's the most important thing? And why is that the most important thing? What would you say is second? And why is that? And third, if 1 and 2 happen, but not 3, would that be okay? How about if 2 and 3 happen, but not 1? What's your plan B if your home doesn't sell?
Keep in mind, it is very important to reread and confirm the needs you discovered. Also realize needs and wants are not the same thing. A need is a must-have. A want is a nice-to-have. When buyers show up, you and the seller need a shared understanding of that difference. Exercise. Find a partner in class. Discover their 3 top needs as a seller, and then get them to prioritize.
Need to work on this. We're not gonna get together, but you can see what you need to ask. You can go back through all this is available on KWConnect. So you go through it anytime. These are really short. On number 7 is present your value proposition and marketing plan. That's something else that we all need to work on. Our 15-second elevator speech. We should all get together and work on that. Really narrow it down, because sometimes Royalyn can see something in me that I don't see, and she can help me out, or I can see something in Royalyn. Like I'd say she's a good direct person who gets the job done well. I do shit on it. Marketing plan, I think that's one of the things we need to work on. What we need to do with marketing, what all do we do in marketing, like door knock. How many people have door knock before or after they all this? That's why you're in the business for 35 years. We're not going there, right? We will go over Wednesday marketing service for listings. I think that's going to be a really good one that we can all work on. When talking marketing, site examples show what you know about inventory. Does anybody else have a hard time about exactly how to get the statistics, what it is you want to give them? Or you think, it's so overwhelming that it's crazy. The absorption rate, I do miss getting the absorption rate. That's something that I think it would be great to have again. You write everything.
Yeah, well, Tammy kind of showed me how to get it when I was looking at trying to price a listing, but I still don't 100%.
Yeah, we should get it. So it'd be really nice to start getting that again. Maybe that's something we can bring up. Do you remember mentioning it?
I never got them, but I know when I worked with another company, every Tuesday, I think it was the beginning of the month, what they would do was they would pull up inventory for the last, they would compare it for the year by that point. They would do monthly, and they would do quarterly. But what they do is they pull everything up in front of everybody, and then they had graphs showing condos 2014 by this point versus 2013. And it showed whether it was going up or down in a percentage. That was huge. If I could figure out how to make that, I'd make it myself, but I don't know how to do that. So
You can pull that from the MLS.
yeah, you can, but then you got to figure out how to put it in graph form, because that's what I need is the graph form, because I can explain it better on a graph, and it's much better visually for people.
Yeah, right.
Well, why don't we put that also on maybe with realists that we can also figure that out. Because I don't think it's that difficult. It's just I'm not a.
I want you to take the class just long
Yeah.
Thank you so much for keeping the list. I love it. But our ALC meeting is Thursday, and then it's training subject at 2 o'clock. But anything that you want to do with education.
These are some good things.
Yeah, if you could make a quick list while you're listen to me talk, that'd be great. And another thing about value proposition is what the benefit of it is. And I think, me personally, I have a difficult time seeing the benefit of me helping you. But I think that's just self-confidence. Which, by the way, the more you do it, the better you get. On page 1426, and this is something that I think would be really interesting to do, is once we get your value proposition, is like the feature, you've been in Greenville 20 years, what's the benefit of that? I worked on horse farms for 20 years, 15, I don't know how to do it. But you know what I'm saying, if that's one of your expertise. You've been in several states, you have, knowledge of lots of inventory and been around, and then you can write your feature and then a benefit for each one of them. I think I'm pretty confident in you. I need to do this, this will be a project that you can do. Now we're going to do the seller's objection. You see it up.
There's a third objection to your experience, power session 14, and there's another with the commission.
Which one? So it's Tracy.
Where?
Oh, right there.
Let's take a look at the 3 most common objections for associates with minimal experience. Objection 1. Your presentation has been good, yet we think we need an agent with more experience.
Keller Williams is different. I'm a partner with the others in my office. We share in the profits of our office. When one makes money, it benefits the rest of us too. So I have lots of motivated agents and many years of experience working for you.
Objection 2. We think we'll get more help with an experienced agent. Option A.
Agents who have been in the business a long time, they've already made it. They don't keep the hours that I do. Your business is way more important to me. I give you all the attention you deserve, and if I don't know the answer, I'm smart enough to go get it for you.
Option B.
Is there anything another agent said they would do that for some reason I forgot to mention? And did I cover everything you expected to hear? Sounds like you believe I can get your home sold, so let's move ahead now.
Option C.
Are you excited today about your job as you were when you first started? I have so much enthusiasm and excitement and have all this experience in my office to rely on.
Objection 3. You're very convincing, yet we're just not sure. We need to think it over and get back to you.
I hear you saying you want to be confident. If you were 100% confident in me, you wouldn't bring this up. If you knew I was going to do everything possible, you'd sign. The truth is, you can never know that. Let's sign the agreement and know that you can cancel with me anytime you're not satisfied.
Exercise. Find a partner in class and take turns role-playing each objection.
I think that's pretty cool. Very good. So, we can all play it before we can move on. And then we have this is on commission. Don't y'all just love that one?
Let's take a look at the 3 most common objections to commission. Objection 1. Another agent said they would charge less than that, and money is tight for us.
I can appreciate that there's someone who will work for less, but your agent negotiates for you. If they can't negotiate with you on their own money, how likely will they be able to fight for your money when buyers make an offer?
Objection 2. Why don't you reduce your commission? Option A.
If your boss came to you and said, I want you to do the same job for less pay and you'll have to work harder, would you be motivated? No. Well, that's like me. I'll need to work hard to do. That is what you want, isn't it?
Option B.
You want to net the most money possible, right? Agents who discount their commission will offer buyer's agents less money too. You want to give the biggest incentive possible to buyer's agents, don't you?
Objection 3. Why would we pay a realtor any more than the lowest commission we can get?
Has there ever been a time that you bought something for less, thinking it was a great value, only to find out it is not? You had to replace it and spend more. See, quality lasts. It delivers value. Is this kind of like that time? It is.
Exercise. Find a partner in class and take turns role-playing each objection.
How many were in it?
That's really
Where do you say you get what you pay for?
You get what you pay for.
You really do.
All right. So those are some. These are all available on Ignite, and there's Canada and United States. So don't get.
I wonder what the difference is with Canada.
I've always been curious about that.
I mean, how would be different selling a house in Canada and different selling a house here?
It sure is cold.
Or is it in French?
Could be.
They just have a little bit different system there. I think, yeah, because I know, like, in Mexico, you can only own a house for 25 years.
That's a different law.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's right. One of the things that we have that a lot of people don't have, well, they're getting it, they're following us, is the e-edge, where we can have transactions, you know, paperless, that sort of thing. And not everybody's going to use it.
Not every client likes it.
Not every client likes it. But the one thing that I tell them is that if there's ever a discrepancy, that it has a time and a date, which is different than just having a signature. And so you can really go back in time. So this goes all about, you know, the objections that you can overcome by telling them about it. And so 1430 and 1431, those are really things that you should read over and really get familiar with on the because it's really cool. I mean, it does save some time, it does save some paper, but it's nice to go back and, oh, I got some paperwork for you, matter of fact. So that's pretty cool. On 1431, it's check for commitment. This is where you go on for the consultation, and you can decide whether or not they are committed to selling their house. The CMA that we're going to be doing tomorrow, you know, getting that price right. And sometimes I forget things like, you know, how much does a screen and porch cost? So tomorrow that's going to be interesting. And then set mutual expectations, yours and theirs, what you expect from them. If I text you answering, please. And this is the 10 plus customer service agreement. And that's where, you know, you can give this to them, you can go over it, have an initial, you know, just make sure. I know, some of the things that, especially with buyers, got a little sheet, things you do not do in the buying process. Because it's terrible when you come up to the last week before you go to close, and those buyers have come and taken out the loan for new furniture. And now they can't buy a house. So,
Or they bought a car.
Or they bought a car. Or they, so, always handle any unresolved questions or objections. And then, guess what? It's time to close for the listing agreement. And we've got another one. We have lots of videos for this one.
Close. Getting a customer's signature on an agreement or contract. Step 12 of the listing consultation is closing, asking for their business. Always have a partially completed listing agreement with you and have it on the table in front of you and them. Don't forget to have a pen handy.
We're in agreement about the price, and it sounds like all your questions are answered. Sign now, and we'll get your home on the market immediately.
A listing appointment can end before you finish your listing presentation. Be direct and ask for your business and their signature immediately after presenting your value proposition and price recommendation. Be sure there are no outstanding issues or major unanswered questions before you do. Listen for opportunities to close early. Use good judgment and don't be afraid to do it. Top associates differ in their approach to appointments. Some say to get everything done in one appointment. Others have their first visit to tour and build rapport, and their second to present price and get their signature. Both approaches work. Research has shown successful listing consultations can take 10 minutes or an hour. In the beginning, your consultation will be closer to an hour. Make it a goal to shorten it as your confidence grows. Exercise. Which approach is better for you? Is it the one-step or the two-step listing appointment? Take a moment and write out your preference and the reasons why. Be prepared to discuss them in class.
Which means,
I would love to do the one step, but it always ends up being a 2, 3, 4.
What I do is the second step is to then get the first step.
so instead of your 2 to 3 minute listing appointment, it came to 10.
They gave it to me.
Anyway, it's all up to you. I mean,
Well, I think if you ask all those questions over the phone before you even go, that'll make.
it one step. So really, it's kind of one and half. Half, you know, really not big. I think either way, it's going to be somewhat of a two-step.
Yeah, because I don't ever have a sign with me or a lockbox, but I guess I should.
Yeah, especially if it's way out there.
Well, but like in my situation, I have a couple listings right now. They're having to do a lot of things before we put that sign in my box.
Right.
So it's taken me to, like, I'm getting ready to have a third before, before we actually, I'm listing it, she has the document, she has to sign them.
And you got the price, you got everything.
We've got the price, it's just the fact that there's things that need to be done to the house before I'm gonna sign it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's saying if they're ready.
Right.
You know,
It could be like other agents should put the sign yard that says coming soon.
we're not doing that anymore. That's been banned from the MLS.
Thank God. I was trying to be funny, sorry.
Page 1434, use an estimated net sheet with sellers. The net sheet is a simple but useful tool. A one-page form that you complete gives sellers ideas of net pricing and may expect. It can be useful in helping sellers arrive at agreement with you about the list price and to understand the impact of the final selling price. A net sheet is not in the toolkit, but it's easy to create one. But we already have one. A net sheet usually shows the selling price, gross selling price, deductions of any closing. Has everybody done one? Is everybody sure about what prices go on here?
Not everything. That's enough.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, what do y'all put down for attorney fees for a seller?
I don't like, I'm sure I'm wrong, but I put 250.
What do you put?
400.
What do you put?
When I was doing it, it used to be about 350.
Yeah. I'd say mine was like a no more than, should be no more than. And, 250 is probably about reasonable. But, I just added $100 just to be safe.
So maybe that should be something that we ask the lawyer, or just.
I just go back and look at the website.
Yeah, that's where I kind of got it
Just
from.
kind of say, well, average is looking at like this. So I tell them up front, I said, it could be more or less. I said, but I put a number in here. Could be wrong.
And do you always include the closing expenses for the buyer on here?
I tell them they can add it or deduct it.
I usually add it so they.
Yeah, I've been putting like minimal amounts on that. Express fees, how much y'all putting for those?
45.
No warranty.
Yeah. 400, but I think it's more now. I think it's more like
450.
450 now.
Yeah. Miscellaneous, you put anything there, usually? Do y'all prorate the HOA dues?
I try to, yeah. But I tell them I can change it, depends on when it closes.
Close it first month. Prorated taxes, do you do those? Reporting fees. Repairs from home inspection, do you add that? Revenue stamps. Okay. Do anybody have any radon inspections done around here?
Where?
When did you have that done?
This past February,
They must have been fast.
they were from Vegas.
Well, depending on where you're at, it's more important to other people.
Was it clear?
Oh, yeah. The ticket to that is don't put it on a fireplace. You're not supposed to put it there, put it anywhere near stone. The stone comes from the ground, radon comes from the ground.
Okay.
Me and another agent from another office talked about that, it was really funny. But she wasn't the listing agent, but it was just humorous, we prepared stories.
All right.
That's good, man.
They're doing
And now that we got the listing, the service starts now, which we will go over. And then we're so excited, we can't wait to put it in the MLS. Make sure you have all documents signed properly. And then make sure your communication is done. I'll be calling you Monday afternoon unless we have a showing that week. And then I'll be calling you as soon as I get the feedback. And you should be getting feedback in your email. If you don't, let me know. And then over on page 1437, you have your listing consultation checklist. And make sure that you have, and that's also a free download on kw.com/ignite. And then we talked about the 1-step or 2-step listing appointment. Either way, whatever works for you. It's all about what makes you happy. So, and then talks about aiming high, shorten your presentation time, going from an hour and a half to 10 minutes, or 2 to 3, excuse me, for 10. And always when you're on that listing appointment, what should you do? Ask for a referral. And with both sides of their business. So, it's just working. So it has scripts for sellers staying in the area, sellers leaving the area, and customer service focus. We really need to work on that. I need to work on that. And wanting to be a real estate agent for life. I know I talked when I went to family reunion, whatever year it was, last not last year, 12. Yeah, 13. I don't know. Talked to this one agent, and she had been an agent in this family since the baby was born, graduated from high school, graduated from college, got married, and had a baby. So she had been with this family through this child's entire life, and she had been invited to the, all the graduations, the babies, and then moving, and then the aunts and the uncles. So basically, she was part of that family. When the baby was delivered, they called and told her to come. So I mean, that is an agent for life. I mean, she was phenomenal, but kind of made me feel like, I can't see me doing this, but I guess I can. All right, this is what we've done. We've learned what a pre-listing packet is, what it includes, how to use it to bring qualified sellers and prepare for a successful listing appointment. Learn the steps in a listing consultation, not including presenting your price recommendation, that's tomorrow. And we've learned some scripts to use in the listing consultation, how to answer top objections sellers raise during the listing appointment. So we need to work on time liking. We need to work on our listing presentation, our pre-listing presentation, our value proposition. What else? Our resource books. What else?
Yeah, either monthly or quarterly reports.
The monthly statistics for the market, which is also good. There's several good graphs. And we need to constantly be working on our 10-4, putting 10 people in our database daily.
Yes.
That's all. All right. Questions? Do we have a good time?
Yes.
Thank you, Sondra.
Thank you.
Well, you do. But anytime you want to go to anything, always go to, KW Connect, and it'll do its job. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
Do I need to what I need to do now? Stop broadcasting.